Welcome back to your live continuing NAB 2015 coverage. This is your Teradek live continuing coverage of the National Association of Broadcasters Convention here in Las Vegas, Nevada, at the Las Vegas Convention Center. I'm Michael Artsis. Thanks so much for joining us. We've got another Vitek brand here, and that is SmallHD. First of all, this is Wes and Dale. You guys are the founders of SmallHD. Yep. Congratulations for joining this wonderful family that is Vitek.
Yeah, thank you very much. We really appreciate it.
It's been a long journey for you guys. Before we get to the new stuff, which is amazing, we've kind of talked about it a little this morning, and I want to get it from the horse's mouth.
Yeah.
Let's talk about your stories. I want to refresh everybody's mind. You guys were producers. You worked together. You had a production company, and you were doing commercials and stuff like that. And you had this idea, let's do the Doritos commercial for the Super Bowl, and you won. Yeah. It was like the first. It was the first one, right?
The first one they did. Yeah.
And so, what was the commercial?
It was a commercial. It's kind of actually hard to explain. Basically, it was almost like this. I wouldn't call it a love story, but it was a guy meets a girl kind of situation, and basically we kind of personified the Doritos characteristics, you know, like the guy smiles at the girl and we put like this big cheesy logo up, and then he crashes his car as a result of being distracted and it says crunchy and he like lands on the bag of Doritos, and then she comes over to the car, runs over to the car, and she falls and smacks her face into the car. It was just kind of like this kind of progression of calamities. Okay, so who was the brainchild? Who came up with this concept, or did you do it together? We worked on it for about 24 hours.
So a long time.
Yeah. Well, we actually found out about the contest really late. We had 4 or 5 days to actually till the deadline of it.
So I first of all, I never entered the lotto. I never would enter these contests because I would say I'm never going to win, and I'm the guy who finds out about it with an hour to go.
Right.
You know? And you guys said, oh, let's do this anyway, and you took 24 hours and figured it out. And do you remember whose idea the initial part of the concept was?
Well, it came through a few things, but I think I came out with the concept of doing that personification of the characteristics of the chips, and then we sort of came up with the story right after that. Sort of followed suit pretty.
And you
quickly.
must have been so excited because they had never done anything like this. Now your commercial's going to air on the Super Bowl for Doritos.
Yeah.
Not some slouchy brand. This is some real.
It's legit. It was really cool.
Yeah. And so then you get prize money.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting. The first year the prize was it just aired on the Super Bowl, which is huge. Yeah. And that really kind of like set us down this road of doing more production, which is where we figured out that there were no high definition monitors in the world.
So I always thought it was that you took the prize money and realized that there were no great high definition monitors, and you took the prize money and said, hey, let's use that to start a business. You then got more production work and used that money to start SmallHD.
Actually, it's a little more complicated than that. 2 years later, we had kicked off SmallHD in a small way with our DP1 as a 9-inch monitor, and we were working on our second one, but it was going to be expensive because we needed to buy a bunch of materials for it. And at that time, we saw that Doritos was doing another contest, so we decided to enter that one. And miraculously, we won it a second time, and that's when we won the prize money because they were giving out prize money.
Okay, and you used that prize money. And was that the idea? You were like, look, I can go get institutional money or venture cap money, or I can go find an angel investor, or we could go enter that Doritos thing again and defend our title. You guys are two-time world champions.
That's right, yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's a crazy, I would have never, ever guessed that happening.
Wow, it's like really hitting blackjack at one of these tables twice in a row.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
The odds are astronomical. They really are. And when we were doing it, we were actually well into the SmallHD company at that time, and it was kind of thought of as a really bad use of time. I was like, come on, guys, don't waste your time with the Doritos. There's no way lightning's going to strike twice.
Yeah. And the second time, what was the commercial?
The second time we kind of went the dog route, which most commercials in the Super Bowl that have a dog do pretty well.
Yeah.
And the commercial was that there was a guy sitting on a park bench eating Doritos. The dog walks up, kind of wanting the Doritos, and the guy spots that the dog has a bark collar, one of those anti-bark collars, and the guy tries to tempt the dog to bark. Right. And so the dog whines and walks away. Then the dog takes off his own collar, sneaks up behind the guy, throws it around his neck, and then barks, and the guy falls on the ground. The dog gets his Doritos. So it was a victory for the dog.
Yes, I like that. I remember that commercial well, and I like it, and it was a huge hit. So now SmallHD go off to the races because you take the prize money and you can go get the materials you need, and you have the seed money. And then you basically show up here at NAB, and I remember this, and you blow up. Like everybody needs the SmallHD monitors. They're the best monitors out there. and you guys are off to the races.
Yep.
And you probably couldn't even meet the demand.
Yeah, we couldn't, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
and you were
really,
overwhelmed.
really cool.
This is such a great story. This is like guys just working hard and putting their noses to the grindstone.
Yeah.
And then so now we're what, 5 years later? Is it 5 years later?
Yeah, absolutely.
And you have this new monitor. So you've got a whole lineup of monitors. You got the DP7 and you got the AC7, and they're great. And I was just talking to these guys from Motion State, were like, these are the only monitors we use for our Movi or for Steadicam, and you know, a lot of other guys tell me that, especially for outdoor, for daylight, because everybody, the first thing everybody says, daylight, daylight, daylight. So now you've got the 502, which is an amazing configuration. So the first question I have that I've already been asked a million times, is it daylight?
It is not daylight viewable, but that's the piece behind it is that it really, the value behind the 502 monitor is the fact that we can add this piece on and make it a side finder. And obviously, if you put your face up to an eye cup, you're able to see it in any lighting condition. So,
all right, so you've got this new monitor, it's the 502, and it's the size of my iPhone.
That's right.
And it's gorgeous. The display is unbelievable. I love the genius you put through it. So let's talk about, first of all right, it's a really stunning monitor. And here we've got this little camera we can show off. There it's on the A7S here. Okay, and it's a really stunning monitor, and then you figured out that why would we want to touch this like our iPhone?
Right.
Because if you're looking at this, you don't want your fingerprints all over. It's fine for a phone to make phone calls and stuff, but not for what we're doing with it, right?
Right.
And so let's give a toggle button, a little joystick, and another button like a home button on an iPhone, and we can then actually operate it well.
Right. Yeah.
And then you figured out a workflow that is very impressive.
Yeah. So we get a lot of requests for touchscreen for some reason. I just think that's how people are used to interacting with devices. But the negatives are big. You get fingerprints on the device, and by simplifying the user interface, we've been able to create a very small wireless remote that you can attach down near your hand on your rig or your tripod handle.
Oh wow!
To
all right,
operate.
let me show this. You've got this little wireless remote. Oh wow, that's unbelievable.
And so that controls the whole monitor. So because it's such a nice user interface, it's been designed from the ground up. We have this page system where you can create multiple pages that are basically big presets of features.
So that's what I like so much about the monitor. Okay, so you got a couple of cool things I want to run through real quick, and then I want to get back to the page system. So first of all, it takes Canon LPE6 batteries, which you can get anywhere. You probably already have them for your DSLRs. And they go on the back, and they're hot swappable?
Yep.
Okay, so you never run out of power.
Right.
Number two, you've got HDMI in and out. You've got SDI in and out, and they cross-convert.
Correct. Yeah.
Beautiful. Number three, you've got about 25 different mounting positions and brackets and ways to do it, and all sorts of other things. Okay. Let's take it a step further. You've got an SD slot for not only your 3D LUTs,
correct.
Not only your firmware updates, but also potentially in the future you're going to be able to record.
We're working on that right now. Doing some dailies recording through H.264. That's still a kind of a project in the works, but fairly coming very soon is going to be image capture that will again take whatever you're shooting and put it right on the SD card, and that's really convenient for people trying to get shots for Instagram or anything like that they're trying to share from a social perspective of the shoot they're doing. They take a snapshot and it can send it to the SD card, and you can even use those iFi cards that send it straight to your phone.
Wireless,
then,
those are great cards.
Yeah, then you're
and then you have a bunch of different mounts, but you got a cold shoe mount that you have with it. You've got all sorts of mounting points, and the thing that's super cool to me is that you add the accessory that you have there. So this is like $1,149.
$11.99.
$11.99. So $1,200 for this, and the screen is gorgeous. It's unbelievable. It is so sharp. It's more sharp than my iPhone.
Yes, correct.
It has better resolution than my iPhone. It's full 1920 by 1080. You take this and you put this side finder on it, which is amazing technology, has a bunch of other mounting points, and now you've got a real viewfinder finally for your camera, and you can really shoot. And this is an optional accessory for $399?
$300.
$300.
$299.
So $299.
The side finder.
Wow.
And the side finder actually ships with this this cool bracket, which allows you to mount to a ton of different things. There's a NATO rail on the side. It's got 1/4-20s all over it for you to be able to mount to the traditional style EVF mount that is kind of grabs onto the bottom. You can mount a rosette to the side, and we also will be shipping it with a kit that can allow you to use 15mm rods straight into it with a quick release, so you can click it on and off really easily, and it ships with the remote too. So this, you get this whole setup right out of the box.
And I think the cool thing is it still gives you information. It takes up only 3 inches of the whole display for this.
Right.
It looks like a full display.
Yep.
It's not that pixelated magnifying thing.
Yeah.
You have a real diopter, and it gives you information on the side for your crew members to be able to look as well.
Yeah. Absolutely. Out the sides, we have some windows that at least can tell you different things, like signal and histogram, that kind of thing.
That's awesome. And we've got to run, but I want to tell everybody my favorite feature in the whole thing is when you use monitors like this in the past, even your monitors, you have to toggle. Oh, I want the focus assist. I want the waveform. Toggle it on. Toggle it off. Here. I want the LUT. Here, you can literally set each thing up on an individual page, or set each thing, or set multiple things on a page, and just go between pages.
Right, left, right on the joystick. You just jump to presets with left, right.
So it's almost like having tabs in your browser.
Absolutely.
Yes, here's my Gmail tab. Here's my ESPN tab. Here's my weather tab. And oh, what's the weather? Boom. Here's my Messenger tab. Oh, what's the message? Boom. Here's my ESPN tab. What's the highlight? Oh, there it is. Oh, and did I get mail? There you go. It's the same concept in a monitor. It's brilliant.
Simple setup, left, right, gets you everything you need. And the side finder is really good because it's a very high resolution viewfinder. It's the highest resolution third-party viewfinder, and it's a full 5-inch HD monitor.
It's hard to get me excited about a monitor. It really is these days. It's hard to get me excited about a product. You guys are geniuses. It's a great monitor. I'm very excited about it. Everybody here, it's been the talk of NAB leading up to it. Congratulations, guys. I'm very proud of you.
Michael.
I'm glad to know you since the beginning. I'm glad you're part of the Vitek family. Congratulations again. And unfortunately, we got to run, but thank you for coming on and giving us your time. I know you got to get back to it as well. I'm Michael Artis. We'll be back with a whole lot more on your live continuing Teradek NAB 2015 coverage here from Las Vegas, Nevada. Thanks for watching. Don't go anywhere. We got a lot more to come.